Hi everybody, so this is the grammar reference, the revision for Unit 7. Okay, so if you go to page 153, okay, you have the uses of modal verbs. So one of the uses that we saw was for possibility. Okay, can is not so common, but okay. It's like where this is possible. Can there be life on Mars? So is that a possibility? Okay. Or this, it could rain tomorrow. It's the same more or less as may and might. Okay, he may be the meeting, she might, etc. Okay, things that are possible. And then if you talk about the past, you have to use have. Okay, we saw this in class. For example, you have the infinitive. Okay, it could rain. That's for the present. And then if it's about the past, it could have rained, but it didn't. Could have, or he could have passed the exam, but he didn't. So something that was possible in the past. Okay, so could have been, could have done, could have visited him. Okay, this is when something was possible. It's not exactly the same as the other use we'll see later. Okay, then you have certainty or deduction. Okay, then you have must and can't for deduction. Okay, when you are sure about something, so it must be summer or June because it's very hot, so you are sure about something. And can't is the opposite. Okay, notice that you can't say mustn't in this case when it is certainty. So it must be June, it can't be winter, it's too hot for it to be winter. Okay, couldn't, I don't like couldn't too much for present, but if you talk about the past, then it's, you can say can't or couldn't. Okay, we saw this here, remember? For example, it must be, he must be 45, look at him, he can't be 45, he's going to university. And then might, may and could, something that is possible. Okay, I don't know, he might be 35, who knows? Okay, so this is about the present or perhaps the future. Okay, it might rain tonight, it may rain tonight, so you have infinitive. And then these are for the past, and it's the same idea. Must, you are sure about something, you are sure that something happened in the past or was true in the past. Okay, why didn't he come? He must have felt ill, he must have had an accident, he never misses a lesson, so something must have happened to him. Okay, so must have, always have. And then the third form, you can use had. Okay, so he must have had an accident or been. He must have been ill. Okay, can't is the opposite. So you are sure that that's not possible, or that didn't happen in the past. He can't have done it. He can't have been sick. Okay, I saw him running this morning. And could, might, and may, it is possible. I don't know. He may have had an accident. He may have come across someone. He may have had an emergency. Okay, so this is important. This is for certainty. Okay, or possibility. Might, may, and could, the ones that appeared here, those are for something that is possible. Okay, so as I told you, this appears in the hard games coincidentally, but you shouldn't use it. Okay, you can use mustn't to express the idea of you are sure that something is not true or wasn't true. Okay, you have to use can't. Then for ability, we had a look at this. Okay, I think this is, you can read it, it's quite straightforward. Just a couple of things you need to remember. Okay, could is only for general ability. So when I was 4 years old, I could ride a bicycle. Okay, or in the present, I can ride a bicycle, I can speak English. Okay, so this is the same. And then couldn't can be for general ability, but couldn't can also be for specific. Okay, however, could is only for general ability. You can't use could for something specific. In that case, you have to use I was able to, or I managed to do it, succeeded in doing it. Manage normally suggests difficulty. Okay, and then you have this unfulfilled ability, something that was possible but wasn't done. I could have become a great tennis player. I could have won the lottery, but I didn't buy the winning ticket. but I could have done it. It was possible for me to have done it, but I didn't fulfill it. I didn't actually do it. Okay? You have some examples. Examples help. Okay? And now there's an exercise at the back for this. Okay, so page 154. Can you choose the best reply for each of these questions? I'm going to give you 3 seconds and I'll show the answers. 3, 2, 1. Make sure you check the meaning and you understand the sentences. Okay? So now we're going to do a different exercise to practice also with modal verbs. Okay, you have a sentence and this is a bit like rewriting. You can try to do it without looking, and then I'm going to show the 2 options and you choose the correct one, okay? And then I just tell you, okay? So 3, 2, 1. So he could be here. It is possible. It's a possibility. I clicked on it too. So it's not possible. Can't be. Perhaps they want to come, so they may want to come with us, who knows. And this one, I'm sure, be careful, I'm sure he knows this is present. I'm sure he knows, so Sam must know, because it's the present. He knows something about the past, yeah, but I'm sure that he knows, so he must know. This is an extra exercise that you don't have in the book, okay? So don't look for it. So perhaps he saw her, he might have seen her. This is the past. This action, you are sure you have doubts about something in the past. Someone you're sure saw, and it's about the past, so must have lived. Wasn't driving, so Jack can't have been driving. It's impossible that that happened in the past. Okay, couldn't have missed. Remember, you can say can't have missed, couldn't have missed, or can't have been driving, couldn't have been driving. They're the same. I normally use this one anyway. 9. This is, you don't, I have to show the options because it's difficult. Okay. You have this in Rebecca. Ought to is the same as should. This place ought to be cleaned, I think, when she got to the cottage. She said something like that. And again, here the same. So it was better not to go in the past, so I knew I shouldn't have gone there. Okay. Now, relative clauses. You have these relative pronouns, okay? Remember, be careful with when and where, because you use when and where when it refers to the time when something happens or the place where something happens. But sometimes a place or the time can be a subject, okay, or can be an object. For example, Elda is a city that you hate. You hate Elda, so Elda is not the place where it happens. Okay, so there you'd say Elda is a city that you hate, that you don't like, or that is close to Alicante. Okay, so be careful with that. Okay, and the same with time. Saturday is the day when I usually go running, or that's the time when that happens. Or Saturday is the day that most people prefer. So people prefer that day, that's the object. Therefore, it is still Saturday, but you say that or which. Okay? So be careful with that. Also be careful with this. Okay, with subject repetition. If who refers to the people, okay, you have a new sentence. This is the. Okay, the same with the object, the vase, which I bought. So I bought it, yeah, but when you have which, I bought, this is a new sentence. I bought the vase. Okay. And what is not a relative pronoun? Especially after the comma, many times you think about lo que hizo, Él vino tarde, coma, lo que hizo que no pudiera salir el autobús a tiempo. So, he came late, comma, which meant, you can say what meant, which meant that, so that's a typical mistake too. Okay, you have two kinds of relative clauses. You have defining ones, remember? I want the pen that he is holding. Okay, so I'm defining it, I'm making it different from the rest. Okay, and there are no commas there in that case. Okay, so no commas. And then also remember, you can use that instead of who and which, again, because there are no commas, it is defining. And you can leave the relative pronoun out. You can leave, I don't know, what is it? You can leave it out, or it can be left out when it is not the subject. Okay, so remember, this is a new sentence. Then you have non-defining ones. Remember the ones that can be omitted. They give extra information, and it appears, that information appears between commas. So imagine that the commas are parentheses, so you can remove the what's between parentheses. Okay. Important, you can't use that instead of who and which. This is relevant for part 2. Remember, when you have to fill in with one gap. So if you have a comma, you can't use that. Okay, and just to substitute who and which. And then you have relative clauses and the prepositions. Okay, when you have a preposition, you need to write the whom rather than who, to whom, or you can say the person. I couldn't see I. The person I spoke to told me, or the person to whom I spoke. Okay, so can you complete these sentences with the correct relative pronoun? I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so these two have prepositions, so you need to write whom. And whose is one that is difficult for us Spanish people, because normally in Spanish we say, es el hombre que su hijo, yeah, el hombre cuyo hijo, but no one will say el hombre cuyo hijo. But in English this is very common. Okay, in Look, Listen, Learn you have lesson 3 where you have whose is this cap. It's very common. Okay, and then we had a look at this too. Okay, so in such, either for emphasis, it was so hot, it was such an amazing day, or with that and you introduce the result. It was so hot that I stayed at home. So that is the result, is that I stayed at home. Okay. Remember, normally you use it with an adjective, so hot that, but you can use it with an adverb. He runs so quickly that he always wins the races. There were so many people, or there was so much water that we couldn't leave the house. Okay, so notice you can use different ones. And with such, you can express the same idea. It was so hot that we couldn't go out. It was such a hot day, or we had such hot weather that we couldn't go out. Okay. Very often you have singular noun, so you have to say a. It was such a hot day. Okay. Then 2 is to express something that is negative, in excess. Okay, you're not happy. It was too hot. Did you go running? No, it was too hot. Did you go to the pool? No, the water was too cold. And again, you can use an adverb. He runs too quickly. I can't follow him. Or a determiner. Okay, there were too many people. I have too much work. And then you can continue with 2 plus a verb. I have too much work to go for a run. Or there's too much food for 4 people. You have this in Rebecca. Far too much for 2 people. I think, a typical Mandalay breakfast. So you have 3 possibilities. Nothing. It was too hot. It was too hot to run. It was too hot for me. Noun or pronoun. Enough is the opposite. Enough is that you are more or less happy with the situation. So it's a positive meaning. For example, I have enough time to go out for a run. I have enough. Okay. But you have enough plus noun, enough time, enough money to do something, or for something, for a party, to have a party, or the adjective plus enough. It is hot enough to go to a pool. he runs fast enough to run the race. Okay. And then very is just to emphasize something, normally with adjective, but you can use it also with adverbs. Okay, he runs very fast, he runs very quickly, or even with a determiner like many. I like you very much, or there are very many people who can, but this is not that common. Okay, so if you can fill in the gaps here, I'm going to show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Ready? Okay, very for emphasis, enough to do hold is that you can fit things there. For example, a suitcase, this suitcase can hold 5 kilos or can hold 10 kilos. You can use it sometimes like this, like also the verb sit. Our classroom can sit 24 people, or this car can sit 7 people. Okay, it's like it is possible for 7 people to sit. Okay, so cheap, notice that has been omitted. Okay, so cheap, that I just had to buy, you have this in the placement test. So sometimes that can be omitted when it's not the subject, so you may not realize that you need so. So could you see the stars? No, you couldn't. Such a good book, that, so this is the result. And warm enough to do something. And the last exercise, this is, you have something about it is and there is recorded in the other lesson. So we'll just do the exercise, okay? So choose the correct answer, stop the video. When you have finished, you can continue, so I'm going to give the answers now. Okay, so it's good that, so this is introductory. What was good was that you could come to a party, so it is good that you can do this. The food exists, okay? There might be, it is possible that this exists if we don't leave early. For time, it is lunchtime, it's midnight. Okay, it was, it refers to something said before, there's a context. So what we ate, that was a very nice meal. For whether it is, there is, someone exists, and there isn't any time, there's no time. That's it, thank you very much, bye.